Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from across this great country of ours. Welcome to Module 8 of the Phoenyx Certified Human Hacking Professional course. Today, we are going to take everything we have learned in the past 7 modules and we are going to level up. We are moving from being soldiers to becoming generals. We are moving from individual attacks to full-scale campaigns. The title of this module is Building Malicious Social Engineering Campaigns. Now, I know the word malicious might raise eyebrows, but remember, we are learning this method so we can defend against them. In our line of work, you have to think like the enemy to defeat the enemy. As the Yoruba people say, you cannot be wise about a matter you don't understand. By the end of this module, you will be able to design, document, and execute a comprehensive social engineering campaign. You will understand how advanced persistent threat groups operate, and most importantly, you will be able to protect your organization from these sophisticated attacks. Let's get started. Let me walk you through what we are going to achieve today. First, you will learn to differentiate between isolated attacks and coordinated campaigns. This is a critical distinction. It is the difference between a street thug and a master strategist. Second, you will design and document a multi-vector attack chain. This means combining email, async, and pretexting into a seamless operation. Third, we will analyze APT, Advanced Persistent Threat Group methodologies. These are the big players, the nation-state actors. We are talking about the kind of sophisticated attacks that even the best Nigerian banks and government agencies struggle to defend against. Fourth, you will develop long-cycle slow-burn strategies. These are the attacks that can take months or even years to execute. This is the patience of the spider waiting for the fly. Fifth, we will create contingency plans. Because in this business, if a plan A fails, you better have plan B, C, and D ready. And finally, you will synthesize everything from modules 1 through 7 into a single professional grade attack plan. This is the culmination of everything we have been building toward. So pay attention, take note, and prepare to think like a general. Now, let's talk about this paradigm shift. This is fundamental to everything we are going to discuss today. Think about it like this. Throughout this course, we have been building your toolkit. Async, pretexting, elicitation, these are your weapons. Psychological principles, influence, rapport, manipulation, these are your tactics. Phishing, vision, smishing, impersonation, these are your attack methods. You have all these tools, but if you are just a soldier with a single weapon, you are limited. You can only engage target within range of that weapon. If your weapon jams, you are helpless. If the enemy adapts, you cannot counter. But a general command an army. He uses cavalry, infantry, artillery, and intelligence. He studies the enemy's terrain, predicts their movement, and lays siege to their fortress from multiple angles simultaneously. When one strategy fails, he has 3 more waiting. Now, this model is about your transformation from soldier to general. We are no longer discussing how to send a single convincing phishing email. We are discussing how to orchestrate a campaign, a coordinated, multi-stage, multi-vector operation designed with a singular objective to breach a target human and digital defenses completely and irrevocably. So ask yourself, are you ready to become a general? Now, why does this matter in the Nigerian context? Let me paint a picture for you. Consider the Nigerian business landscape. We have a vibrant fintech sector, companies like Paystack, Flutterwave, or Pay. We have a growing oil and gas industry. We have expanding telecommunications, MTN, Airtel, Glo, and we have a complex government apparatus at both federal and state levels. These are not low value targets. These are high value, well defended assets. A simple Nigerian Prince scam email, the ones I'm talking about. These are laughed at by these organizations. Their employees have basic security awareness training. Their IT department have email filters. A single phishing email is likely to fail. Now, even our own people know to delete those emails. I beg, who still falls for I am the son of a divorced king in 2026? But a well-planned campaign against a Nigerian bank, that is a different story entirely. I want you to imagine this scenario. An attacker spent weeks profiling a mid-level manager in a bank's IT department. They discovered through LinkedIn and public forums that this manager is an avid fan of the Super Eagles and participates in a popular Nigerian football betting pool. Now, the attacker now creates a fake profile on a betting forum, builds raffle over several weeks discussing football and sharing winning tips. Now, after trust is established, they send the manager a free betting odds calculator, an Excel file containing a malicious macro. The macro installs remote access software, and suddenly the attacker has a foothold inside the bank's IT network. That is not a single attack. That is a campaign, and that is the level of threat your future clients face. As my Igbo brothers will say, one must know what one is doing, and the bad actors certainly know what they are doing. Let me walk you through this Nigerian campaign case study in more detail. Phase 1, deep profiling. Now, in phase 1, deep profiling, the attacker is not rushing. They are taking their time. They are spending weeks just learning about this mid-level IT manager. What is his name? Where did he go to school? What are his hobbies? What are his frustrations? Now, phase 2 is discovery through OSINT. Now, this is where the open source intelligence comes in. On LinkedIn, they see he is a Super Eagles fan. On public forums, they see he participates in betting pools. These are not secret. This is information he has voluntarily shared with the world, and the attacker is using it against him. Phase 3 is relationship building. Now, this is the most time-consuming phase. The attacker creates a fake profile on the betting forum. They start conversations about football. They share winning tips that might be good, might be bad, but that's not the point. The point is building trust. The point is becoming a familiar, friendly presence. Now think about the Hausa proverb. Abokin tafiya shi ya san hanya. It is the terrible companion who knows the way. The attacker is positioning themselves as that trusted terrible companion. Over weeks, this relationship develops. The target doesn't know they are being groomed. They just think they have made a new friend who shares their passion for football. And that friend is about to hand them a poison gift. Now we move to the payoff. Phase 4 is payload delivery. The attacker sends what appears to be a harmless Excel file, a free betting odds calculator. Who wouldn't want that, right? But this file contains a macro, and when that macro is enabled, it installs remote access software on the manager's computer. Now phase 5 is exploitation. The attacker now has a foothold inside the bank's IT network. They are behind the firewall. From here, they can pivot to more sensitive systems, servers containing customer data, transaction record, even the bank's core banking application. This is not a Nigerian Prince scam. This is a sophisticated multi-stage operation that took patience, intelligence, and strategy. And this is why we need to understand campaigns, not just individual attacks. Because while your bank might have good email filters, they might not be prepared for an attacker who spent weeks befriending an employee over a shared love of football. As we say in Fijian, now who know go know. Those who don't know will learn. And today we are going to learn how to defend against this. Now let me make a very clear distinction between an isolated attack and a coordinated campaign. This is fundamental to our understanding. An isolated attack is like trying to smash a door down with a single battery ram. If the door holds, you lose. You have put all your eggs in one basket, and if that basket drops, game over. A campaign is like laying siege to a castle. You surround it, you cut up its supplies, you send in spies to open the gate from within. You launch feints at one wall while your men force attacks another. The door is just one of the many vulnerabilities you are prepared to exploit. Let me break down the differences. Scope. An isolated attack is single vector, single goal. A campaign is multi-vector with interdependent goals leading to a final objective. Timeline. Isolated attacks are short-term, hours or days. Campaigns can span weeks, months, or even years. Adaptability. Isolated attacks are rigid. If they fail, the operation fails. Campaigns are highly adaptable. If one vector fails, you pivot to a pre-planned alternative. Resource investment. Isolated attacks require minimal OSINT and generic pretext. Campaigns require significant investment in deep OSINT and custom-developed pretext and tools. Targeting. Isolated attacks are broad and opportunistic. Campaigns are highly targeted, focused on a specific individual, role, or asset. Post-exploitation. Isolated attacks often end at the initial compromise. Campaigns are designed for persistence. The initial compromise is just the beginning. So ask yourself, are you defending against isolated attacks or are you defending against campaigns? Because the answer determines everything about your security posture. Every successful social engineering campaign, regardless of its target or objective, is built on 4 core components. These are non-negotiable. First, a clear singular objective. Your campaign must have one ultimate goal, and this goal must be specific, measurable, and actionable. You cannot say steal information. You must say exfiltrate the source code for the fraud detection algorithm. Every action in your campaign must be evaluated against this question. Does this action bring us closer to the goal? Second, deep actionable OSINT. As we have stressed throughout this course, OSINT is the lifeblood of social engineering. For a campaign, OSINT is not just a list of facts. It is a map of the target terrain. It identifies not just where they work, but their routines, their relationships, their passions, their fears, and their weaknesses. The OSINT phase of a campaign is often longer than the attack phase itself. Third, a dynamic multi-vector attack plan. A campaign never relies on a single method. It has primary attack vector and multiple pre-planned backup vectors. If the phishing email fails, you have a phishing script ready. If the phishing call raises suspicion, you have a physical pretext prepared. The attack plan is a living document that adapts to the target responses. Fourth, presence and patience. This is the most difficult component for novice social engineers. Our instinct is to rush, to get the goods and move on. A campaign requires the opposite mindset. You must be willing to build trust slowly, to let week pass without direct contact, to let your fake identity mature. You are not hunting, you are farming. You are cultivating a target over time until they are ready to be harvested. In our local context, think of it like a planting yam. You don't harvest the yam you planted the same day. You wait, you tend, you nurture, and when the time is right, you reap. Now, let's talk about attack chains. An attack chain is a sequence of interconnected attacks where the successful completion of one step creates the condition necessary for the next. Think of it like a physical chain. Each link is connected. If one link breaks, the chain is useless. But if all links hold, the chain can pull a tremendous weight. In a social engineering campaign, each link is a smaller victory that builds toward the final objective. And here is the key. The chain creates a compounding effect. Each successful step achieves 3 things. First, it gathers more intelligence. It reveals new information about the target, their environment, and their security posture. Every interaction teaches you something new. Second, it builds trust and rapport. It deepens the passive relationship between attacker and the target. The target becomes more comfortable, more trusting. Third, it lowers defenses. It desensitizes the target to your presence and makes subsequent, more intrusive requests seem more normal. What will have seemed suspicious in the first interaction now seems perfectly reasonable. This is why campaigns are so effective. Each step builds on the last, creating a momentum that makes final compromise almost inevitable. Now, as we say in Yoruba, if we keep going, we will reach our destination. And that is exactly what an attack chain does. It keeps going until the objective is reached. Now, let me introduce you to our case study target, Chidi Okonkwo. Chidi is a senior product manager at PayPast, a prominent Nigerian Fintech company with a popular mobile money app. Now, Chidi is not a low-level employee. He's a senior manager. He has access to sensitive information. And what is the crown jewel that the attacker is after? PayPast is developing a new feature that allows for microloans based on user spending patterns. The proprietary algorithms and risk models for this feature are stored on a secure server. Access to this server requires a two-factor authentication token and a password that changes every 60 days. Chidi, as a senior PM, has access to this server. He has legitimate access. That's what makes him such a valuable target. The objective is clear: gain persistent, remote access to the server containing the microloan algorithms. Now, how do we do that? We don't ask Chidi for access. That would be stupid. He will report you immediately. Instead, we build a campaign that makes him willingly give us access without even knowing he's doing it. This is the art of the campaign. And now we are going to break down exactly how it is done. Phase 1 of our campaign is the deep OSINT probe. This is where we construct a detailed, multidimensional profile of Chidi Okonkwo, identifying every possible attack surface. Let me show you what we found. Professional OSINT. First, we check LinkedIn. Chidi's profile is public. It shows his career progression, his University of Lagos, his role at PayPast, and his stated skills in agile development and product strategy. He is connected to several other PayPast employees as well as people at other Nigerian fintechs. Then we check the company website. The PayPast About Us page lists Chidi as part of the product team. Along with his professional photo, there is a recent press release about the new microloan feature that caught Chidi directly. We are incredibly excited about this new feature. It is going to revolutionize access to credit for everyday Nigerians. Personal OSINT. Now let's get personal. On Twitter, we found at Chidi the PM. His tweets reveal he's an ardent supporter of Arsenal Football Club. He frequently tweets about matches. Sometimes during working hours, he complains about Lagos traffic, specifically mentioning the third main line bridge and the Lekki-Epe Expressway. He retweets tech news and posts about his love for classic Nigerian music, mentioning artists like Fela Kuti. On Facebook, after some searching, we identify his personal profile. It is set to Prince only, but his profile picture at an Arsenal theme bar in Lagos and his cover photo, his family are public. Data leaks. We search, have I been found with his email address. We found his email address was part of a breach from a popular Nigerian job site 2 years ago. The breach data include an old password, PayPast at 123. We note this for potential password spraying attempts. Infrastructure OSINT. Using tools like Built With and Shodan, we analyze PayPast public-facing infrastructure. They use a specific cloud provider and a popular project management tool called Jira that is externally accessible. Their email security is handled by Google Workspace. So by the end of phase 1, we are no longer looking at a name on a list. We are looking at a person. We know Chidi's professional pressures, his personal passions, his routines, his frustrations, and even one of his old passwords. We have a map of his digital and physical world. And that is just phase 1. Now, let me continue with the OSINT probe because this is critical. The more information you have, the more believable your pretext becomes. We also look at his WhatsApp and his social media presence. While we can't see his WhatsApp directly, OSINT suggests he is likely a member of relevant groups. A quick search on public Telegram channels and forums related to Nigerian tech reveals a link to a WhatsApp group called Lagos Tech Entrepreneurs. This is noted for later. We also search public record and data leaks. Using hunter.io with the paper's domain syntax, we discover his email address. Then we check have I been found and similar databases. The breach from the job site is a gold mine, not just for the password, but because it tells us he uses the same email for multiple purposes. And finally, we analyze the vendor and infrastructure landscape. Job postings from papers reveal their tech stack. A recent posting for a systems administrator lists experience with their specific cloud provider and Jira as a requirement, confirming our findings. All of this information is publicly available. Anybody with time, patience, and basic hosting skills will find this. That is the scary part. This is why we must protect our digital footprint. In Nigeria, we love to share everything on social media. We post about our jobs, our families, our favorite football teams, our frustration with traffic. We don't think twice about it. But to a skilled attacker, all of that information is ammunition. Everything you say has a voice. Everything you post tells a story. And that story can be used against you. Now we move to phase 2, pre-tech development. This is where we use the OSINT we gathered to craft a believable, low-risk reason for initial contact. Based on our OSINT, we have several options. A journalist writing an article on a fintech innovation, a fellow Arsenal fan, a recruiter from another company, a vendor for the project management tool. We select the journalist pretext as our primary vector. Why? Because it provides a legitimate reason to contact him about his work, the microloan feature. It appeals to his ego and it establishes a professional context that doesn't immediately ask for anything sensitive. Now let me show you how we build the persona. We create Femi Adebayo, a freelance technology journalist for a newly created but legitimate looking online publication called technaira.ng. The backstory: Femi is a young, ambitious tech journalist based in Lagos. He writes in-depth features on Nigerian innovation. He has a byline: we create a few fake articles on the Tech Naira site. The tools: we register the domain and set up email forwarding. We create a professional looking website for Tech Naira using a simple WordPress site with a few AI generated articles. We create a LinkedIn profile for Femi Adebayo connected to a few other fake journalist profiles. Now, this takes work, but by the time we are done, Femi Adebayo looks like a real person. If Chidi googles him, he will find an online presence. And that is the goal, to create a believability that bypasses suspicion. As we say in Fiji, you're supposed to show face before you fit enter. You need to show your face before you can enter. And we have made sure Femi's face looks legitimate. Now, we launch the primary attack chain. Step 1 is the initial contact via email. We sent a carefully crafted email to Chidi's work address. The subject is feature article, the future of micro lending in Nigeria. And here is the body of the email. Dear Chidi, my name is Femi Adebayo, and I am a tech journalist with Tech Naira, www.technaira.ng. I am currently writing a feature piece on the next wave of innovation in Nigerian Fintech, and PayPal's upcoming microloan feature has been generating a lot of buzz. I have been following your work and was particularly struck by your quote in the recent press release about revolutionizing access to credit. I would love to include your perspective in the article. Will you be open to a very 15-minute chat sometime this week or next? I am based in Lagos as well and happy to work around your schedule. Best regards, Femi Adebayo, technaira.ng. Now, notice what this email does. It's polite, professional, and flattering. It references Chidi's actual work and recent press coverage. It positions Femi as a legitimate journalist. And most importantly, the ask is very small, just a 15-minute chat. This is the foot in the door technique. You start with a small request that is easy to say yes to. And once they say yes, they are psychologically committed. In Nigerian terms, this is like when a salesman says, I just want to show you something, no pressure to buy. You know they are going to try to sell you something, but you have already agreed to listing. And that is the trap. Let me break down the psychological principles at work in the first email. Ego appeal. We are praising his work and seeking his expert opinion. Everybody likes to be recognized for their expertise. When you make someone feel important, they are more likely to cooperate. Authority. We are positioning ourselves as legitimate journalists from a credible publication. Even though the publication is fake, we have made it look real enough. Authority makes people comply. Low friction. The ask is very small, just a 15-minute chat. This is easy to say yes to. There is no passive risk. Scarcity. The praise narrating a lot of boos create a sense of urgency. Chidi doesn't want to miss out on being featured in a hot article. Social proof. By mentioning that we have been following his work and cutting his press release, we are showing that he is recognized as an expert. His peers will approve of him being featured. So all of these principles work together to make Chidi say yes to that first contact. And once he says yes, he's on the hook. In Nigerian business culture, we value relationships. We value connections. When someone reaches out in a professional, respectable way, we tend to respond. And that is exactly what the attacker is counting on. Now, step 2. Building rapport via a phone or video call. Chidi agrees to the call. Femi has a brief professional conversation. He is friendly, knowledgeable, and asks intelligent, non-threatening questions about the general challenges of fintech in Nigeria. He doesn't ask for any sensitive information. He just listens and engages. Here is where the accent pays off. Femi uses his knowledge of Lagos traffic to commiserate. I hope you were not struck on the third mainline bridge too long today. It is nightmare, isn't it? This small, genuine, seeming detail builds a connection. Chidi thinks, this guy understands my life. You know what Lagos traffic is like. Now, at the end of the call, Femi thanks Chidi profusely and says, this is fantastic. I will send you a draft of the relevant section for your review before you publish, just to make sure I didn't get any of the technical details wrong. This is brilliant. He is offering to send the draft for review, giving Chidi something of passive value. Chidi feels respected, important, and in control of how he is portrayed. In our culture, reciprocity is powerful. When someone does you a favor, you feel obligated to return it. And by offering to send the draft for review, Femi is creating that sense of obligation. He is doing something for Chidi, so Chidi will feel he owes something in return. As we say in Hausa, yaba kyauta tukwici. If someone gives you something, you must give back. That is the psychology we are using here. Let me break down the psychological principles at work in this phone call. Liking/similarity. By being friendly and referencing a shared experience, Lagos traffic, we build a rapport. People like people who are like them. When you share an experience, you create a bond. Reciprocity. We offer to send the draft for his review. This gives him something of passive value, control over his portrayal. He feels like he is receiving something, so he will feel obligated to reciprocate in the future. Authority. We are still maintaining the journalist's persona. He is professional and expert in his field. Chidi respects that authority. Consistency. Chidi has already committed to helping by agreeing to the interview. Continuing to help is consistent with that initial commitment. So by the end of this call, Chidi likely has a positive impression of Femi. He doesn't know he's being groomed. He thinks he's just helping a journalist with an article. This is the danger of social engineering. It doesn't look like an attack. It looks like a normal professional interaction. The victim doesn't realize they are being manipulated until it is too late. Now, step 3. The payload delivery via email with a malicious attachment. A week later, we send the follow-up email. The subject is draft section for your review. Microloan article. The body reads, Hi Chidi. As promised, here is the draft section of the article where I disclose the microloan feature. I have tried to capture the essence of what we discuss. Please let me know if any of the technical specifics are off or if there is anything you would like me to emphasize more. The draft is attached as a PDF for easy review. Thanks again for your time. Femi. Now here is a crucial detail. That attached PDF is not a real document. It is a weaponized file. When opened, it exploits a known vulnerability in the target's PDF reader, silently installing a remote access Trojan, a rat, on the Chidi's machine. Chidi has no reason to be suspicious. He is expecting this email. He is expecting the draft. He trusts Femi. So he opened the attachment without thinking twice. This is a moment of compromise. Everything else, the weeks of OSINT, the careful personal creation, the friendly phone call, it all leads to this single moment. And it works because Chidi doesn't see a malicious email. He sees a helpful journalist sending him the draft he promised. He has been conditioned to expect this. His defenses are down. In Nigerian terms, this is a moment the hunter's trap snapshot. The animal didn't see it coming because the party theme safe. Now, let me break down the psychological principle at work in this payload delivery email. Commitment and consistency. Chidi has already committed to helping Femi by agreeing to the interview. Helping by reviewing the draft is a consistent, natural next step. It will be psychologically uncomfortable for him to suddenly become suspicious. Liking. By this point, Chidi likely has a positive impression of Femi. He enjoyed their call. Femi was friendly and professional. This positive feeling makes him less likely to scrutinize the attachment. Reciprocity. Femi is, as promised, fulfilling his commitment to send the draft. He is maintaining his side of the bargain. This makes Chidi feel obligated to maintain his side. Authority. The context remains professional. Chidi is being asked for his expert review. His role as a senior product manager is being validated. So all of these principles work together to create a situation where opening that PDM seems like the right, natural, expected thing to do. And that is the genius of campaign. By the time the malicious file arrives, Chidi has already been psychologically prepared. He's not suspicious because everything feels normal. As we say in Fijian, them don't prefer you before them attack you. They prefer you before they attack you. That is what a campaign does. Now step 4, exploitation and persistence. The rat phones home to our command and control server. We now have a foothold inside the papers network. We are behind their firewall. Now, using Chidi's machine as a firewall point, we begin to explore the internal network. We look for file servers, database servers, and other high-value targets. We capture screenshots, log keystrokes, and snip network traffic. We eventually find the server containing the micro-learn algorithms, but we may need to wait for Chidi to log in, capturing his two-factor token and his new password via our keylogger. Once we have access, we exfiltrate the data in small encrypted chunks to avoid detection. Notice what happened. We didn't ask for the algorithms. We didn't send a phishing email asking for passwords. We create a situation where Chidi was accessed through his legitimate credentials without ever knowing he was doing it. This is the power of campaign. It doesn't rely on breaking through defenses. It relies on bypassing them entirely. And this is why organizations need to understand this threat. You can have the best technical defenses in the world, firewalls, encryption, multi-factor authentication. But if your employees are vulnerable to social engineering, those defenses mean nothing. In our context, think about the banks, the telecom companies, the government agencies. They spend millions on cybersecurity. But how much do they spend on training their employees to support a campaign like this? As we say in Hausa, sai ka san maki za ka dau matakin kare kai. You must know the enemy before you can defend yourself. And today, you are learning who the enemy is and how they operate. Now, let me analyze this attack chain and highlight the key takeaways. Multi-vector. This campaign used multiple vectors. It used email for initial contact and payload delivery. It used a phone and video or video call for effort building. It uses malicious file for exploitation. It combines digital and human interaction. This makes it much harder to defend against. OSINT driven. Every step was informed by the intelligence we gathered in phase 1. The journalist pretext was chosen based on Chidi's professional profile. The traffic reference was based on his tweets. The timing was based on his routines. Everything was tailored to him personally. Gradual escalation. We didn't ask for algorithm in the first email. We asked for conversation. Then we offered to share a draft. Only after trust was built did we deliver the payload. This gradual escalation is the hallmark of professional campaign. Never ask directly. At no point did we ask Chidi for sensitive information. We didn't ask for his password. We didn't ask for the algorithms. We created a situation where he gave us access without being asked. That is the difference between a rookie and a professional. You don't confront the hit directly. You work around it. And that is exactly what this campaign does. A professional campaign anticipates failure. What if our primary vector fails? What if Chidi ignores the email? What if he's suspicious of the PDF? That is why we need contingency plans. Contingency plan A, the peer approach. Now, if the journalist's email is ignored, we pivot to WhatsApp. We have identified the Lagos Tech Entrepreneur WhatsApp group through OSINT. Femi joins the group, observe for a few days, then engage in a general conversations about fintech. He builds low-level rapport with Chidi within the group, eventually moving to a private message. Hey Chidi, I am Femi. I think we are in the same WhatsApp group. I'm working on a side project and would love to pick your brain for 5 minutes sometime. No pressure. Contingency plan B, the vendor approach. If Chidi is suspicious of the PDF, we have a backup act to call him, posing as Andrew from Tech Naira's IT support. This serves two purposes. It explains away the suspicious PDF as a security issue on our end, alleviating any suspicion, and it positions us as a helpful security team building further trust. Contingency plan C, the physical approach. So if all digital vector fails, we go physical. We identify the company that services the coffee machines in the PayPast Lagos office. Discoverable buyer trash or vendor OSINT. We outfit a team member in a uniform with a fake work order. They arrive during lunch when the office manager might be more relaxed. While fixing the coffee machine on the 4th floor, they could plug a small disguised keylogger into Chidi's workstation. Now in Nigeria, we know how to adapt. We know when one door closes, another opens. The same principle applies to campaigns. You have to be ready to pivot, to change course, to try new approaches. So I want to emphasize, at this point, I want to emphasize the importance of contingency planning because this is what separates professionals from amateurs. In my experience working with Nigerian organizations, I have seen too many security teams that have a single plan. They test a single scenario. They have one response. And when something unexpected happens, they are paralyzed. That is not how you win. You win by having options. You win by being prepared for failure. Now, let's look at our contingency plans again. Contingency plan A is a different vector entirely. WhatsApp instead of email. It is a different free text. A peer instead of a journalist. It is different channel of communication. Contingency plan B is a vision call that actually reinforces the original vector. It explains away the suspicious PDF and positions us as helpful. It turns out potential failure into trust building opportunity. Now, contingency plan C goes physical, something many organizations don't even think about. They focus on digital threat and ignore the physical world. Now, this is the mindset of a general, not a soldier. A soldier has one weapon. A general has an army. In our local context, think of this like a market trader. If one product isn't selling, they don't just give up. They switch to a different product. They offer a discount. They change their pitch. They adapt to the situation. That is what we need to do in security. Now, let me read you the script for contingency plan B, the vendor approach, so you can see how this works in practice. Hello, Mr. Okonkwo. This is Andrew from Tech Naira's IT department. We are calling because our systems flag a suspicious file being sent from our journalist Femi Adebayo's account to your address. It appears his account may have been compromised. For your security, we strongly advise you not to open any attachment from that email and to delete it immediately. We are so sorry for the inconvenience. Now, why does this work? Because it explains away the suspicious PDF. If Chidi was suspicious, he now has an explanation. The file was suspicious because Femi's account was compromised. The problem was on our end, not his. Second, it positions us as helpful security team. We are calling to protect him. We are being proactive about security. This builds trust. Third, it creates a positive impression. We have now been helpful twice. First with the article, then with security warning. Chidi will feel positively toward taking error. Fourth, it leaves the door open for future contact. If we need to contact him again under a different free text, he will be more likely to respond because we have been helpful before. Now, this is the art of manipulation. You take a potential failure and you turn it into a trust building opportunity. In Nigerian business, this is like a customer who complains about a product. Instead of arguing, you apologize, you fix the problem, and you offer a discount on their next purchase. The customer leaves happy and loyal. That is exactly what we are doing here, turning a complaint into a relationship. Now we have come to one of the most important concepts in this module: long cycle and slow burn attacks. High value target, CEOs, government officials, security professionals, they are different. They are what I call hardened castles. They have seen attacks. They are trained to be suspicious. They are surrounded by layers of security, both digital and human. Attacking them with a standard short cycle campaign is like charging a castle gate with a ladder. You will be seen and you will be stopped. To breach a hardened castle, you need a long cycle or slow burn attack. This is a signature of the most sophisticated, advanced, persistent threat groups. The philosophy of the slow burn is simple. Become part of the landscape. Make yourself so familiar, so expected, so seemingly benign that you are no longer seen as potential threat. You are just part of the background noise of the target's life. Think about it this way. When you walk through your neighborhood every day, do you notice every house, every tree, every car? No. Your brain filters out the familiar. The slow burn exploits this. By maintaining low-level contact over a month, you train the target brain to filter you out. You become invisible, not because you are hiding, but because you are expected. In our context, this is like NEPA workers who come to fix the meter. You see them so often that you don't think twice. They become part of the landscape, and that is exactly what the attacker wants. Let me break down the four key psychological mechanisms of the long cycle attack. First, desensitization through familiarity. The human brain is wired to ignore the familiar. Think about the way you drive to work every day. Do you notice every billboard, every house, every pothole? No. Your brain has learned to filter out this familiar information to focus on what is new and potentially threatening. A long cycle attack exploits this. By maintaining low-level, non-threatening contact over a month, you train the target brain to filter you out. You become harmless part of their digital environment. Second, gradual escalation and the commitment trap. You never ask for the big thing first. You ask for a small, seemingly insignificant piece of information or a tiny favor. Over time, you ask for a slightly more. This is the foot in the door technique, powered by the psychological principle of commitment and consistency. Once a target has said yes to you repeatedly, it becomes psychologically very difficult for them to say no to a larger request. Third, fake identity maturation. In a short campaign, a fake identity is a thin veneer. In a long campaign, you have time to build a real, seeming person. You post articles, engage in conversations on public forums, connect with real people on LinkedIn. Over 6 months, the fake identity becomes a real, credible figure. When you finally reach out, the target Googles you and finds a wealth of information confirming your legitimacy. Fourth, emotional investment and weaponize friendship. This is the ultimate goal. You are no longer just a contact or a source. You are a friend. You have shared interest. You have commiserated about traffic and celebrated Arsenal's wins. You have become a trusted confidant. When this level of emotional investment is achieved, the target is no longer protecting information from an attacker. They are helping a friend. Now, in Nigerian terms, this is like long con. You invest time, you build trust, you become part of the family. And when you finally make your move, nobody is suspecting because you are one of us. Now, let me show you how a long cycle attack works in practice with case study. Our target is Ngozi Adeleke, the head of cybersecurity at First Trust Bank, one of Nigeria's largest financial institutions, a fictional bank. So the challenge, Ngozi is a security expert. She trains her team on phishing. She is hyper-vigilant. A standard phishing email will be caught and analyzed immediately. So month 1 to 3, identity maturation, we create a LinkedIn profile for Tunde Bakari, a senior technology recruiter at AfroSearch, a reputable Pan-African recruitment firm. We build Tunde's profile slowly. We connect with dozens of other recruiters, human relation professionals, and tech workers in Lagos. We post occasional insightful articles about the Nigerian tech talent market. We get endorsed for our skills. A Google search for Tunde Bakari AfroSearch now returns a legitimate seeming professional. Month 4 to 6, passive engagement. We follow Ngozi on LinkedIn. We like and comment on her post. But our comments are professional, insightful, and never overly personal. We are just another respected member of her network. We note that she attends the Lagos Tech Summit and make a mental note. Month 7, the first contact. A few weeks before the summit, Tunde sent Ngozi a direct message. Hi Ngozi, I hope you are well. I saw you will be at the Lagos Tech Summit again this year. I am a big admirer of the First Trust, of the work First Trust is doing in the security space. I would love to buy you a coffee at the summit if you have 15 minutes. No recruitment fee, I promise. Just genuinely interested in connecting with a leader in the field. Now, this request is almost impossible to refuse. Why? It is peer-to-peer, framed around a shared event, make no demand, and offers a clear social reward, a recognition as a leader. The offer is smooth, the approach is professional, and the request is minimal. Now, let me continue with the rest of the campaign. Month 8, the summit meeting. Tunde meet Ngozi for coffee. He is charming, knowledgeable, and humble. He asks her about her work, listening intently and validate her expertise. He shares a funny story about a recruiting disaster. They part as friendly acquaintances. The seed of relationship is planted. Month 9 to 11, nurturing the connection. Tunde stays in touch with Ngozi. He sends her links to relevant articles he thinks she'll find interesting. He congratulates her on a recent industry award she won. He shares a meme about cybersecurity that he knows will make her laugh. The contact is light, friendly, and always provide value. Tunde is becoming a friend. Now, month 12, the Febo. Tunde sent Ngozi a message. Hey, Ngozi, hope you are having a good week. I am in a bit of a bind. I am working on a super sensitive placement for a major fintech client, and I am trying to verify some of the technical claims a candidate has made. He says he implemented an X security protocol at his last bank. You are literally the only person I trust to give me an honest, expert opinion. Will I possibly forward you a brief, anonymized paragraph from his resume and get your take? It will literally take you 2 minutes. Ngozi, who now considered Tunde a friend and a respected peer, is in a psychological trap. Tunde has flattered her ego, I feel. He has framed her as his only trusted source, social proof, and he has asked for a small, seemingly harmless favor, consistency. She says, yes. Tunde forwarded a document. It is a PDF. It contains the weaponized exploit. A year of patient relationship building, all leading to a single, perfectly timed payload delivery. Now, this is the power of the slow burn. This is APT level social engineering. In Nigeria, this is like, I have a business opportunity for you scam. But instead of a quick payoff, it is a year-long investment, and the returns are exponentially larger. Advanced persistent threat groups are not just technically sophisticated. They are masters of applied psychology. They have weaponized principles of influence. They have weaponized the principles of influence we have studied throughout this course, turning them into precision-guided munitions. Now, let me give you an example of how they weaponize scarcity and authority. Scenario: targeting an NNPC official, the attacker posing as a senior official from the Ministry of Petroleum sent a highly official-looking encrypted email. The email is marked with high security classification, confidential draft, not for distribution. The email outlines a new limited-time strategic partnership with a foreign oil consortium. It mentions specific, hard-to-verify details about upcoming policy changes and investment opportunities. The email states that only a select few executives have been chosen to review the draft and provide feedback before the window closes. Why it works? Authority. The emails appear to come from a legitimate government source. An authority figure, the target is conditioned to respect and obey. Scarcity. The opportunity is framed as a limited time and only available to a select few. This creates a sense of urgency and exclusivity. The target fears missing out on a critical piece of information or a strategic advantage. They are compelled to click on the attachment or link, bypassing their normal suspicion. Now, in Nigerian government and business culture, authority is highly respected. We defer to our elders, our bosses, or our government officials. This makes us vulnerable to authority-based attacks. And when you combine that with scarcity, the fear of missing out, it is a powerful combination. As we say in Hausa, Sarki baya fadin ƙarya. The king does not lie. Also, we assume. But when the king's email is actually from an attacker, that assumption becomes our downfall. Another powerful principle is social proof. The idea that if others are doing something, it must be safe or correct. Scenario: targeting a telecom engineering team. The attacker wants to compromise the engineering team at a Nigerian telecommunication company. They first successfully phish a low-level but trusted employee in the company's HR department. Now, using that compromised email account, they send a message to the engineering team's mailing list. The content: hi team, I was just contacted by a vendor we are evaluating for the new project. They sent over a really interesting industry report on 5G infrastructure that has some great competitive analysis. I thought you will all find it useful. It is attached. Let me know what you think. Now, why it works? Social proof. The email doesn't come from a stranger. It comes from a trusted internal colleague. The team's defenses are already lowered because the source is familiar. Liking or helpfulness. The request is framed as helpful and collaborative, further encouraging compliance. The malicious attachment is open, not because the target is careless, but because they are trusting a peer. In Nigerian organizations, we often have a culture of who you know. We trust people we know, people in our network. An email from a colleague is seen as safe, but that trust can be exploited. As we say in Fiji, your own person could be the one we go sell you. Your own person might be the one who betrays you, not intentionally, but because the account has been compromised. Now, we come to what I consider the most dangerous and difficult to defend against principle: liking and similarity. Non-APT examples: aerospace engineers. A non-APT group targeting aerospace engineers was discovered running a long-term operation on LinkedIn and professional forums. The attackers created multiple fake profiles of attractive, intelligent women who claimed to be aeronautical engineering students or early career researchers. They connected with male engineers working at sensitive defense contractors. The attack over month. The fake fasteners engaged with the target in conversation. They asked for advice on their studies, ego appeal. They expressed admiration for the target's work, liking. They shared common interests discovered through awesome similarity. The relationship became friendly, sometimes even flirtatious. Why it works? Liking and similarity. The target feels a genuine sense of liking and connection with the partner. They are not just a source of information, they are a friend or potential romantic interest. The favor. Now, when the partner eventually asks for a favor, perhaps help with a difficult homework problem that involves discussing a specific technology or access to a technical paper behind a company firewall, the target complies out of a desire to help someone they like. The request doesn't trigger a security alert because it is framed as a personal favor between friends, not a data breach. Now, in our Nigerian context, we are a social, relationship-oriented culture. We value connections. We want to help our friends, and that is exactly what the attacker exploits. Now, this is why security awareness training is so important. We need to teach people that not everyone who seems friendly is actually a friend. Now, before we move to the project, we must reiterate the ethical boundaries that separate a professional security expert from a criminal. We learn this method to defend. We learn to think like an attacker so we can build impenetrable defenses. The knowledge in this module is a weapon. Like any weapon, it can be used for good or evil. Now, the professional social engineer's code. First, you only attack with written permission. Every single technique described in this module must only be used within the bounds of a legally binding contract with a clearly defined scope and a get out of jail free letter signed by an authorized representative of the target organization. Second, your goal is education, not humiliation. Your objective is to identify vulnerabilities so they can be fixed, not to make employees look foolish. Your reporting should be constructive and anonymous wherever possible. Third, you protect the innocent. You sanitize the report. You do not name individuals who fell for your attacks unless absolutely necessary and with the client's agreement. You have a moral obligation to minimize harm to the people involved in your test. Fourth, you know the law. You are intimately familiar with the laws regarding computer fraud, wiretapping, and privacy in the jurisdiction where you are operating. Ignorance of the law is not a defense. In Nigeria, we have the Cyber Crimes Act of 2015. You need to know what it says. You need to know what is legal and what is not. And you need to operate strictly within the bounds of the law. Remember, with great power comes greater responsibility. The knowledge you are gaining here is powerful. Use it wisely. So we look at the project overview. So now let me introduce you to the final project. This is your examination, your opportunity to demonstrate everything you have learned. So you are to role play as a professional social engineering consultant tasked with a designing hypothetical attack plan against a mock company. This is a theoretical exercise only. No actual attacks are to be launched. The target, NaijaPay Innovations, a fictitious company, right? It's not a real company. So NaijaPay is a fast-growing Nigerian Fintech company headquartered on Victoria Island, Lagos, with a small satellite development office in Port Harcourt. They employ approximately 250 people and are best known for their popular mobile payment app, which has millions of users across West Africa. The crown jewel, Project Eagle. NaijaPay's most valuable asset is their proprietary fraud detection algorithm. The algorithm uses advanced machine learning to identify and block fraudulent transactions in real time. The source code and the machine learning models are the company's primary competitive advantage. If a competitor were to obtain this algorithm, it will be catastrophic for NaijaPay. Key personnel. Number 1, CEO, Mr. Adebayo Okafor, public figure, active on LinkedIn, speak at a major tech conferences, passionate about financial inclusion. Number 2, head of engineering, Dr. Chiamaka Nwosu, low profile but public GitHub shows expertise in Python and TensorFlow. Twitter reveals she is an Arsenal fan, lives on mainland, complains about Lekki Ikoyi link bridge traffic, and loves her cat Lekki. Number 3, CFO, Mr. Emeka Eze, chartered accountant, 20 years of banking experience, rumored to be extremely cautious and by the book. Number 4, office manager, Mrs. Punke Adeyemi, Facebook features photos of her children force about attending RCCG in Ikeja, checks in at a ShopRite in Lekki on Thursday evenings, friends with other NaijaPay employees. Your job is to design a campaign to breach NaijaPay and steal Project Eagle. So here is your task. You are the lead social engineer. Your client has asked you to demonstrate how a sophisticated attacker could breach NaijaPay and steal the Project Eagle algorithm. You are to create a detailed professional attack plan document with the following sections. Section 1, executive summary, 1 to 2 pages. Clearly state the primary goal of the campaign. State your choosing primary target and justify your choice. Provide a high-level summary of your plan attack chain in 3 to 4 paragraphs. Section 2, phase 1, deep OSINT analysis, 3 to 5 pages. Select one of the key personnel. I recommend Dr. Chiamaka Onwosu for the challenge. Create a detailed profile with at least 20 to 25 distinct pieces of information. For each piece, explain how you will find it. Use subheadings: professional history, personal interest, relationship/network, routines and habit, technical footprint. Now, section 3, page 2, primary attack chain design, 3 to 5 pages. Design a detailed multi-vector primary attack chain with at least 4 to 5 distinct steps. For each step, provide step number and name, vector, pretext, goal, psychological principles, and detailed scripts/description. Now, this is where you show your creativity and your understanding of the psychological principles we have studied. Now, continuing with the project requirements, section 4, phase 3, contingency and long cycle options, 2 to 3 pages. Contingency plan A. What if your primary chain fails early? Describe a detailed backup plan. Now, contingency plan B. What if you will raffle but the target doesn't take the final bait? How will you pivot? Long cycle/slow burn option. Briefly outline a separate, longer term strategy. How could you achieve the same objective by taking a much slower, more efficient approach? And then section 5, the final payload and operational security, 1 to 2 pages. The payload. Describe the technical method for the final compromise with Phoenyx PDF, macro enable Excel, fake login page, etc. Exfiltration. How will you get the Project Eagle data out of the network undetected? OffSec and cleanup. How will you cover your tracks after the campaign? So, section 6, conclusion and defensive recommendation, 1 to 2 pages. So, conclusion, summarize the overall risk to NaijaPay based on your plan. Defensive recommendation, provide at least 5 concrete actionable recommendations based on the vulnerabilities your plan exploit. Now, this project is your chance to demonstrate everything you have learned. Take it serious, be creative, be thorough, and remember, this is a theoretical exercise only. So, evaluation criteria. Your project will be evaluated on the following criteria: depth and quality of OSINT, 25%. Is your OSINT section detailed, creative, and realistic? Does it go beyond surface level information? Anyone can find a link in profile. Can you find the details that matter? Creativity and believability of the attack chain, 30%. Is your attack chain logical, well-paced, and multi-vector? Are your free text believable and well integrated with the OSINT? Is your use of psychological principles correctly identified and applied? Quality of contingency planning, 15%. Are your backup plans well thought out and distinct from the primary plan? Does your long cycle of option demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of patience and identity maturation? Professionalism and clarity of writing, 15%. Is your report well structured, professionally written, and free of grammatical errors? Does it read like a document you will present to a paying client? Quality of defensive recommendations, 15%. Are your recommendations practical, specific, and directly linked to the vulnerabilities demonstrated in your attack plan? Do they go beyond generic advice? Now, this is your opportunity to show me what you have learned. Don't disappoint. So, let me summarize what we have covered in this module. You have learned the critical distinction between an isolated attack and a campaign. You understand that a sophisticated operation is not a single attack, but a coordinated multi-stage campaign. You have learned how to build a multi-vector attack chain where each step builds upon the last. The OSINT, the pretext development, the initial contact, the rapport building, the failure delivery, each step is connected, each victory set up the next. You have learned the psychology and methodology of long cycle slow burn attacks against high value target. You understand the importance of patience, identity maturation, and becoming part of the landscape. You have learned how APT groups will finance the principles of influence, scarcity, authority, social group, liking, and similarity. You understand that these are not just academic concepts, they are precision guided munitions. And you have learned the importance of contingency planning and adaptability. A professional campaign anticipates failure and has backup plans ready. You are now equipped with the knowledge to design, document, and execute a comprehensive social engineering campaign. So let me leave you with this final thought. You are now equipped with the knowledge to design, document, and execute a comprehensive social engineering campaign. Now use this knowledge wisely, ethically, and always within the bounds of the law and your professional code of conduct. Remember, we learned this method to defend. We learn to think like an attacker so we can build impenetrable defenses. The knowledge in this model is a weapon. Like any weapon, it can be used for good or evil. The next generation of security depends on professionals like you who truly understand the art of human hacking. So make your ethical commitment. Written permission only. Education, not humiliation. Protect the innocent. Know and follow the law. In our Nigerian context, we have a saying, you cannot be wise about a matter you don't understand. Now you understand. Go and be wise. Go and protect our organizations. Go and build a more secure Nigeria. Go and be the professional this country needs. Thank you and good luck on your projects.